the God himself, despite of all his, you know, greatness, opulences, uniqueness, sometimes he can become your friend and he can run your chariots. This is actually called devotion. Just who is devotee of who? That is the question. It's like you devotee of God or God devotee of you. So Krishna is showing he's a devotee of his devotee. And Mahaprabhu proved, Naham viprona chandra patirna pivaishu nashudro naham varinacha grihapatir navana prastutirva kintu pradyan nihila paramananda puram ritavhira gopi bhakta padakamayo dasa dasa. I want to become a servant of the servant of the servant of devotee. Gopi bhakta padakamayo dasa dasa nadasah. This is an interesting question. Was asked by somebody to Guru Maharaj, Srila Maharaj. The question was like, how many, which position in the spiritual world did Jiva occupy? And Guru Maharaj said like, first is Krishna, second is Radharani, Baladev, Lalita, Vishaka. Oh, he said, oh okay, so Jiva, fifth position, number 5. It's an amazing. So the actual soul always occupy position number 5 in the spiritual world, because otherwise Krishna himself and his expansions and energies. But seeing soul, Jiva soul, not different from him, and meaning that part of him, just like you see sometimes your children is like, or your brother or sister, they're not different than you. Like we're the one. He's so merciful. He's coming to, you know, be your friend and take charge of your chariot. It's so beautiful. So when this Brahmin were thinking about this concept, which is very beautiful, he was crying, and although he could not read Bhagavad Gita, Mahaprabhu, he said, I'm considering you as the best knower of Bhagavad Gita. So in your favor, you may not understand all the Russian language, and you may not understand, I mean, the philosophy of Krishna consciousness is so high, and we are so junior to that, I don't think we can, you know, even fully appreciate. But you have so much fortune that you are actually have some feeling towards Krishna consciousness, and you are present. So you must be getting the blessing of whatever the spiritual knowledge. It has to come to your heart, because it is not intellectual transaction. Srila Gurudev used to tell us it's heart-to-heart transaction. We could be different by language, age, group, mindset, but Krishna consciousness is not conditioned by anybody, it's transcendental. So it comes from heart of surrender soul to the heart of another surrender soul, and finally Krishna is using media of devotees if he wants to reveal himself to someone. So if Krishna wants to reveal himself to someone, there's no one can stop him. So that's why in Prapadan Jivanamrita, which is a book written by Srila Sridhar Maharaj, it says the gold is being purified by fire, even by the fire which has been started by barbarian. Although the barbarian might not understand all the fire sacrifice and all the fire, you know, mantras, but still somebody can light the fire. So the fire starts, it has the power to purify gold. So all the Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he say, I am very unqualified because in some way I want to achieve position of the poet. Nadhanam najanam nashundarim kavitam vajagadisha kamaya. But being a great artist, have a reputation of great artist, that's like biggest ego you can have. So the great empire of Rome, his name was Neron. He was so terrible emperor, but he never imagined himself an emperor, the king. He always considered himself as an artist. So, but he was not the best one. See, that's like you can be a good king, but you may not be the best artist. So his position was very, very brutal because he was not the best artist, but he was the king. So that means everybody had to bow down to him. And everybody would praise his art, although it was like sucks. But there was one politician who controlled him. And the way he controlled him, he would not praise his art, because he was very smart. He knew, oh, Neron, everybody's praising him, so why I have to do that if I'm a smart man? So when Neron would recite his poetry, and everybody would, oh, Your Highness, it's so great. That man said, no, it's not so great. He said, what? Like ready to like kill him. You can do much better. He said, oh yes, you're actually right. Like I also thought. And in this case, he considered this guy as like the highest of his critics, because he always would say, well, this was a good one, but that you could come more. Neron had a strange habits, so we're not going to talk about that. But finally, he was man of inspiration. Like some of our members of our family, spiritual family, they're always looking for inspiration. I can only go on Krishna consciousness if I have inspiration. So finally, he was looking for inspiration, and when he wrote the poetry about Troya, which is a great city and great war, and Trojan horse, all this history of the Greeks fighting with Troya. Then that man said, and some other people said, well, actually, in your poetry, it sounds like very good, very nice, but I don't see the fire. I don't see the real action in that poetry, because whatever you say, it's unexperienced. You're praising some great heroes, but what the art means is meant to put you in some kind of environment where when you feel it, not by brain, it's by heart. And for that you need inspiration. So we're all going for inspiration. So Neron, he did because he was an emperor, so he asked his men to burn his own city. So he saw some of the houses on fire and some of the people dying, and he was trying to compose his poetry. Okay, now I understand. Okay, because Iliad and other great like Gomer, great Greek writers, they had some talent to put you in the environment. And see, that's an important thing, because when we're talking about Krishna consciousness, it is says Tavakatamritam tat jivanam kavibhiriditam kalamashabaham, this harikata, the stream of divine flow, that what will put you in a different world. The sound is the important part. So, name of Saraswati Thakur and whole our conception mean actually that we are promoting divinity in sound. The words, the sound, like you see Goswami Maharaj is a great speaker, Govinda Maharaj is a great speaker, Srila Maharaj, great speaker. So every one of our guru is very unique speaker. So it's within sound where you can experience something. So when Neron wrote the poetry about Troya, that he could not achieve quality of the sound because that wasn't believable. So you have to understand, everything is meant on the plane of belief and faith. But finally, when he burned, some stuff started coming up. So that's the way he was finding inspiration. So, but when it was too much, and finally it was a big riot, and just some of his people came to him and said, please, now there's surrender, the riot, the people surrendered the palace. With people around here, this low birth people, they will kill you. And so he said, what should I do? Then somebody give him to get rid of him, give him knife. He said, cut your own throat, kill yourself. And he figured that better if I, kill myself. His ego was such that, I'll be killed by some, street people of their own. But before he killed himself, he cut his throat. This emperor, he said, what are the great artists dying? So you can understand the ego is such that even before just going to die. This person saying, "What is the great artist dying? Like, look at me, such drama I'm playing in." So that was inspiration for him to cut throat. So sometimes ego, that's what's run our inspiration to do certain things. And Guru Maharaj say that big mountain of ego which cover us from reality. So if we reverse that ego, then that ego of I'm Krishna Das, I'm insignificant servant, like that sloka, Brityam, Namaste Brityam, sloka, I want to be the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant. That is the world of Vaishnavas. So they're not, imagining themselves someone great. Actually, they're being someone great, and they're imagining themselves to be someone lower, that the more greatness will come to them. That's their natural stage of consciousness. So they're thinking of themselves as someone very insignificant, but everybody else think they're great. And in the ego world, you think you're someone great, and everybody else think you're a little cuckoo. So, see, I can understand Neuron very well because of my madness. Oh, I think we all do, but one is more crazy than another, right? We have this tendency to do some little service, but to think of some of us as irreplaceable, unique, unparalleled. And actually, just like, it wasn't like, he wasn't totally bad poet, but he was like mediocre, which is even worse. When you're not very great musician or not very great artist, you're like mediocre. That's like a very undesirable position. So this mediocre position, it seems like, people praise in the social life, middle class, but it's always like, that's not like the best. So in Krishna consciousness, we're not aspiring to become mediocres. I know a little about Krishna consciousness, but I'm not so divine, but I'm not so. That's like undesirable position in spiritual life. In spiritual life, we're thinking, oh, if such a great personalities, such as, teachers and great Vaishnavas, they consider themselves very low, but everybody else would recognize them as so high and so beautiful, then what would be my, desire? Where do I want to feed? Where do I want to place myself? One time Guru Maharaj wants to travel they offered him to travel to the West. And he said, I can't go to West. Although he did go to West in his digital archive form, internet, after 100 years by our audio data and other projects. But at that time, he said, I don't think I fit to go, just like Goswami Maharaj, I can understand. It's not that he's not a social person. Like he can socialize very nicely. He can talk about art, literature, but he doesn't want to waste his time on that. So, see, some people, they're so proud to be intellectually great, to go and socialize and show how much they know about art, literature, that people think they're so great. But actually, somebody who really knows about that, he's not interested to go out and socialize because he doesn't see any good if somebody will recognize. So when we talk about, in our internal circle, about art, literature, spiritual things, he pouring unconditional conclusions about this art, that thing. But he's not interested to go around and show himself as someone great. And what he's interested in to get some understanding, like his goal is like daily understanding of some divine stuff, which I thought, like daily digest, I thought, every time he spends so much time by hearing some stuff, and I go to him for a cup of tea and he tells me something great. And I think, well, who am I? I'm sharing some very special stuff. But if I have some kind of a recorder or something, then I could do daily digest of those talks, where some things are behind the doors they described. So as you can understand, some intimate Krishna consciousness concepts, they are meant to be described by closed doors. And that they're described by closed doors make them very exclusive, because as Guru Maharaj say, according to necessity of audience, the truth is coming. You understand? It's like it's not like what the guru in the position is like. What is your inner necessity to draw that divine truth? And sometimes, as we discussed with Sahadev, when there's a part of archive called Bad Ganesh, when Saraswati Thakur once met a very exclusive audience, he had very exclusive, extensive delivery of Krishna consciousness. And Srila Guru Maharaj, because he had so much qualities to understand, he felt that at this point there's something special coming down, because he's loading huge files of Krishna consciousness. And Saraswati Thakur was in action so that he looked at Srila Sridhar Maharaj, and Srila Sridhar Maharaj like, thinking, yeah, if I go now, take a pen and paper and start transcribing or recording, do some stuff, that may not be like the best time now. But after the lecture, Saraswati Thakur called him and he said, look, have you took some notes? And Srila Sridhar Maharaj said, no, I want to, but it was like, I couldn't just start moving around because I know you were in the flow. And Saraswati Thakur said, damn, you are bad Ganesh. Because Ganesh, he wrote all the Vedas from Veda Vyas. So means like, I'm giving you the Veda and you're supposed to be the Ganesh. So that's why in our little place here, at least some little recorder we're trying to put here. So, because we hope if there's some spiritual flow will come, we don't want to be the bad Ganesh. Right? So, especially in digital age, because if Saraswati Thakur would be today, he would be preaching in China, 100%, 100%. Like, he would be on media, he would be on Full Dome, he would be on internet, he would be all over the place. So, I don't think he would be sitting in a temple like everybody else now doing. Because they're just following India, what's been done 100 years back. It's not that we're illuminating the temple and the deity, but as you remember, our line, the Saraswata, Gaudiya, Sampradaya, Saraswata, it is in the sound. So, should I speak in English or can I speak in Russian? Понимаешь что-то? That was the first part of the lecture. The second part of the lecture is, see, on why it's coming in sound, why sound is very important. See, in the studio, we work with image and sound. That's like everything in the world. But normally what Vedas will tell you, that they say the image and sound in the spiritual world are equal. But in this world, may not be the 100% match. So to match image and sound, it's not that easy. You know how much you match. But in the drama rules, like everything has rules, art also has rules. So the highest part of art is drama. In the drama rules, at the beginning stage of your drama, your heroes are meant to be introduced. And normally the movie directors or writers, they introduce characters by their revelation. They don't say, well, this man came dressed as a saffron dress and he was blah, 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 blah. No. they may avoid so many details, or they don't say, well, this woman was very beautiful, and they start describing, well, you know, she was like blue eyes, and normally when writer describes his hero, although he's telling something about his physical and external beauty, but he has to show some things from its character, especially when it's negative character or positive character. So sometimes the form and substance are not matched. So when we look at Leela, it's also been done in a particular way, because Leela is one of the most important drama written by Yoga Maya, scripted, written by great divine personalities. So if we look at Krishna Leela, then we can understand the Brahma and all the gods, they're going to the causeless ocean, they meditate. Kshira Dakshai Vishnu comes in the ocean and tell them, or maybe not even Kshira Dakshai, maybe it's Karma, Kshira, Garva. The one which is in every universe. It's Karna, Kshira, and Garva. So they go to the Vishnu, and Vishnu tells, very soon I'll take birth. Well, that's bewildered particular people, because they think, oh, Vishnu take birth as Krishna. Actually, it's not. Actually, the drama begin introduced that something divine will descend. Because later in Garga Samhita and other scriptures, it's mentioned that Krishna is not part of Vishnu, Vishnu is his part. But because of the God, like Vishnu, he will descend. Then you can understand this extraordinary baby Krishna, he's some kind of a divine personality. So, and Ram Leela and other Leelas as well. But dramatically speaking, and the descent of Gaura Leela, this introduction, it's actually quite extensive. If you read first parts of Chaitanya Charitamrita, you will be amazed how extensive it is. It starts from 14 slokas and then going to ontology, who's Advaita, who's, Shrivas, Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita, Gadadhar, Shivasari, Gaura Bhaktivinoda, and actually all the parshats. So it's an interesting sound, like my computer. I am Avadhut Maharaj Bolche. So it's an interesting point that, actually very interesting point, that in Gaura Leela, they come as ordinary people, as they always do. Because Ravana in Ramayana, when he asked boon from the Brahma not to be killed by demons, asura, ghost, gods, he thought, as a great demon, he thought, human, Manushi, like human? Come on, I don't have to ask boon by being killed by a human. Who's humans for me? Like, I eat them for breakfast. So Rama came as a human. So there's always a way why he's come as a human, because human is his natural-like form. But in Gaura Leela, he's coming in a human form in different point. In Gaura Leela, he's coming actually Antaranga and Bahiranga. In his internal feeling, he's tasting love of Radharani, which is like, you can't even go there. Like it says, Jiva is number 5, okay? You can't go to that place for lunch. It's closed. So, and externally, he's doing Nam Sankirtan. Why he's doing Nam Sankirtan? Because Nam Sankirtan is something so great and so special, so unique, it has power to liberate all living entities and take everything into harmony. So he has two purposes. And Nityananda Prabhu, his position is although he's Balaram. Balaram means like all the Bala, all the energy come from him, because Krishna, he give all his power, treasure to two personalities. His beauty represents within Radharani, and his power represents within Baladev. Himself, he's free from everything. He's free from every responsibility. He's free from the only responsibility Krishna keep himself. He's a Rasa Raj. Anything you want to taste, you bring to me, and I will taste. Everything else you can do yourself, but let me be the connoisseur, the taste, the Rasa Raj, the taste of everything, and the highest thing, especially. So just think, Krishna, Baladev, Mahaprabhu came in that Radharani, Mahaprabhu taking mood of Radharani, taken in that experience. But then Advaita Gadadhar, Shivasari Guru Bhaktivinoda, Advaita. You know, there is non-duality, but Shiva and Vishnu, although being non-dual themselves, they have to deal with the world of duality. They are entering, you know, from spiritual realm to material world. Karana, Kshira, Garbha means the whole causeless ocean, so many universes within each ocean, and then in that each ocean, each universe, there is another, you know, it's planted with water. 1/3 of it is ocean. There's Vishnu. From him, the lotus steam is coming. And as Srila Sridhar Maharaj is quoting that this lotus steam, it is represented different layers of misconception. On top of it, which is Brahma. So from some point you can say, so does Brahma occupy the highest misconception? Yes. But that means as the more settled plane become, there's more temptation and there's more possibility of remaining on that plane. Because somebody say, well, you know, why do I need Krishna? I'm happy if I get Vaikuntha. You know, some girls say, well, you know, why do I need a good guy? You know, if I have a fat guy, fat boy. How you say in Chinese, fat boy? Huh? Hamza. Huh? Hamza. Yeah, I remember.
You remember?
Yeah, because Jayavati called some of our friends, including myself, Panza. Fat boy. No, just meaning like, oh, why do I need some superior? I'm happy to get something better than nothing. But, so every plane will test you. And he'll say, okay, if that's what you want, you'll get that. See, Krishna, he's not really so much inspired to give himself. Krishna really wants to know, what do you really want? Oh, I want Krishna. Well, how about $100? No. 200? No. 10,000? Okay. So, you know, he will really measure your price. And if you say, well, Krishna, I will never give you up unless I get $1 million or $100 billion. Krishna tell you, okay. But then he said, well, look, I really promise you $1 billion, but there's one little problem. Since you're a prostitute, and that's your proof that you are selling yourself for $1 billion, let's just be realistic and get to your market price. What are you worth? And then the price tremendously reduced to 100, a grand, or something like that. So, as we can understand, Krishna is not really into so much rush to give himself. He really thought, what do you want? So see, some stupid devotees, they ask Krishna, but they don't get it. Some other devotees, they don't ask Krishna. They know it's hard to get Krishna. They ask Krishna like money or something. But Krishna say like, well, you've been devoted to me on some level. And you ask me something mundane, like, girlfriend, money, or both, better both. Girlfriend, little money, little girlfriend, money, little place to stay, little place to enjoy, little world. Like, you start like, first you say to Krishna, I don't have anything. I don't even have a girlfriend. Okay, so here's one. But we really need separate room or house like this. And then we need that TV, because I like to go sometimes. Then it's like, you're asking your own world. And Krishna said, okay, I'll give you. So what do you really want? They say, well, since I have a girlfriend, a little place, I think I'm fine. I'm the most happiest person. And Krishna said, bullshit. You can't be happy, man. Okay, I give you myself. See, Krishna does sometimes things like this. But if you just say like, Krishna, I'm really yours. Take me now. Krishna said, you sound a little ugly. Because I know you're bullshit. Okay, Krishna, give me this, that. So they're like, way you deal with Krishna. And Krishna really knows what you really want and how much you're crazy. He also knows. Because craziness is part of this world. But it's one of the 6 qualities which we can take and control. It's one of the 6 enemies, our craziness. Because the lust, when it's not fulfilled, it comes with anger and craziness. And craziness, that's where like every woman knows, when I'm going crazy, I'm destroying everything. Every man knows, when I'm going crazy, I destroy everything. And in spiritual life, when you're going crazy, like you start offending devotees, you start thinking everybody is like bad and you're good and everybody's like. And one of the reasons sometimes you do that because you think things have to be your way. And Krishna showed me many times, things going to be my way, Krishna said, not your way. Your way is highway. And my way is my way. It's not your way. Then I say like, can we do it at least 50-50? Krishna said, no. Okay, 70 by 30. Krishna said, no. Okay, 80-20. We have a deal? Krishna said, no deal. I'm 100%, and then it's the deal. So in a devotional way, what our teachers are told us, we have to come to that conclusion where we 100% are giving ourselves to Krishna. And that actually will be the most slavery-like position, but that will be most freedom position. As we give to self, ourselves to Krishna, giving to self to Krishna means to give to Guru and Vaishnava. As less you kept for yourself. See, Krishna does not see what you sacrifice, he sees what you kept to yourself. Can I get some change? Oh, I know you have some. Pull it, give it to me. Okay. I only care for the bad day. So that's what the Krishna's quality. So we're speaking about those great personalities like Advaita Acharya, Nityananda Prabhu, Srivas, who is no different than Narad, one of the greatest personality you can imagine, by whose grace Bhagavad or